The Nephilim Revealed, a divine film of incredible transformation and sacred truth, 4K 2026. In the 3rd year of Jehoiakim, the earth was filled with wickedness, and the hearts of men grew weary with despair and deceit. The grandeur of majestic mountains soared high above cities, teeming with corruption, where the laughter of the proud mingled with the cries of the oppressed. Amidst this turmoil, ominous whispers spoke of the Nephilim, the giants who walked the earth, part of both the heavenly and the earthly realms, a reflection of humanity's wayward heart. They filled the air with awe and dread, their presence a constant reminder of the blurred lines that separated the divine from the mortal. In this age of moral decay, there stood a man named Noah, a beacon of righteousness in a darkened world. He found favor in the sight of Yahweh, whose sorrow echoed within the heavens as he gazed upon his creation, witnessing the depths of their corruption. Noah walked with God, his heart attuned to the divine whispers that urged him toward justice in a time when disbelief was rampant. As the clamor of mockery surrounded him, Noah bore a heavy burden. He had been chosen to fulfill a sacred plan that would reshape the fabric of existence. With faith as his foundation, Noah set about the laborious task of building the ark, a vessel of salvation that would endure the coming storm of judgment. As he hammered each wooden beam, the sounds of mockery pierced the air. Yet he remained steadfast, committing his work to the God who spoke of a covenant that would extend beyond destruction. The surrounding people, with hearts hardened and eyes blinded to truth, ignored his pleas, scoffing at the idea of a flood cleansing the earth. Days turned to weeks, and weeks to months, and with each swing of his hammer the ark grew larger, rising from the earth like a fortress against the wrath prepared to descend from the heavens. As the vessel took shape, Noah's heart carried the weight of disbelief around him. Yet it also held the promise of restoration whispered from his Creator. Hope resided within the wooden walls of the ark, patiently waiting for the moment when all would unfold in accordance with God's design. Then came the fateful day when the rain began to fall, at first a gentle murmur, like a whispered prayer through the valleys. But soon the heavens opened wide, and torrential waters poured forth, consuming the land. Those who had once laughed at Noah now faced fate head-on. As chaos erupted around them, the earth trembled under the weight of judgment, fracturing beneath the force of divine will. Noah, alongside his family, moved into the ark, a sanctuary built not just of wood, but of faith and obedience to God. The door sealed behind them, and in that moment, silence hung in the air, heavy and foreboding. The Nephilim loomed in the minds of the terrified populace, symbols of humanity's hubris. Would their pride lead to destruction, or would the hope found in Noah spark a flicker of redemption? The floodwaters surged higher, drowning the memories of those who had turned away from the Creator, but within the ark, a promise of new beginnings rested, waiting to blossom beyond the storm. Before we continue with this incredible biblical account, I want to make sure you don't miss any of these powerful scripture stories. Click the bell icon and select all notifications. These biblical narratives have transformed countless lives throughout history. If God's word through this story is blessing you, please like and share with someone who needs to hear about God's faithfulness today. Tell me in the comments, which biblical story has most impacted your faith journey? I'm always amazed how God's word speaks to hearts across generations. Now let's continue with what the Lord did next. As the rain raged on, the heavens seemed to weep, their tears a divine response to the unfolding tragedy below. In the heart of the storm, the ark provided refuge, a symbol of hope, carrying within it the promise of a covenant that would usher in a new era. What lay beyond the flood and the darkness? What divine wonders awaited Noah as the earth was reshaped? And will mankind remember the choice that brought them to this moment? The narrative of salvation had only just begun, with redemption poised at the edge of the chaos, waiting to reveal its true glory. As the floodwaters bore down upon the earth, the roaring of the tempest became a symphony of divine judgment. Waves crashed like thunder against the mountains, and the cries of those who once mocked echoed in the chaotic tumult. Yet within the ark, a profound stillness enveloped Noah and his family. They leaned on the promises of Yahweh, their hearts filled with reverence and fear, mingled with hope, a hope not rooted in what was seen, but in what was unseen, as their Creator had whispered assurance into their souls. The rain fell incessantly for 40 days and 40 nights, each droplet carrying forth the weight of God's grief over a creation that had turned away. The very earth that had been cursed now seemed to writhe under the burden of sin, as waters covered even the highest peaks. The Nephilim, once the terror of mortal hearts, were now silenced, their defiance swallowed in the deluge. The spirit of the mighty fell, as even they could not withstand the wrath of the Almighty. Amidst the roaring storm, Noah, clad in righteousness, led his family in supplication. They called out to the God of their covenant, beseeching him for mercy, even as their minds grasped the swift justice unfolding outside. Noah's faith tethered him to the assurance of deliverance, aware that in the heart of destruction lay the seeds of renewal. And so the ark floated above the chaos, ascending upon the fury of the waters that raged below. Day turned into night, and the world that once was faded beneath the waves. Inside the vessel, the smells of animals mingled with the scent of pine and cedar, reminding them of the earth they had known, a world filled with life, now swallowed by judgment. At the end of the 40 days, God commanded the storm to cease. The clouds parted, revealing a fractured sky, weeping tears of both grace and regret. The wind howled softly as if carrying away the lamentations of a world lost to sin. In those moments of calm, a rainbow stretched across the horizon, a divine promise etched in the fabric of creation, a symbol of hope restored, the covenant to never again flood the earth in this manner. With trembling determination, Noah sent forth a raven to scout the land, yet it, finding no rest, returned to the ark. Then he released a dove, waiting with anticipation as it flitted through the quieted air. When the dove returned with an olive branch, a sigh of relief echoed within the ark, a sign that life would once again flourish upon the earth. 8 souls emerged from the ark, stepping into a world washed clean, where the footprints of the past were buried beneath the waters. Noah built an altar unto the Lord, a gesture of gratitude and reverence, offering sacrifices that brought forth a sweet aroma to the heavens. There, God's voice resonated once more, declaring his covenant with Noah and every living creature, assuring them that while seasons would come and go, his love would endure, his mercy prevailing over judgment. But amid the promise, a shadow lingered at the edges of Noah's heart. The echoes of the Nephilim remained. What remnants of their wickedness still dwelled among men? Would the flood truly reset the balance of creation, or would humanity, once restored, spiral back into the chaos from which they had been saved? As the sun glimmered upon the renewed earth, Noah contemplated the unfathomable dimensions of God's grace, a grace that had delivered him from the storm, yet bore witness to the indelible mark of sin. What destinies lay ahead, and what challenges would arise within the hearts of men? Surely the tapestry of God's plan was far from complete. With the dawn of a new era drawing near, the question lingered: would mankind learn from the depths of despair, or would history repeat itself? Only time would unveil the fabric of God's sovereign design, leading creation toward redemption once more. As the sun rose upon the earth, the glimmering rays pierced through the heavy mist, unveiling the remnants of a world reborn. Noah and his family stood awestruck upon the firm ground, the sweet scent of earth renewed filling their lungs. They beheld the vast expanse of creation that lay before them, in hails tinged with both gratitude and trepidation. Noah gathered his sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, calling them to him with solemnity. "Behold," he said, his voice steady, "the Lord our God has delivered us. Let us be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. Genesis 9:1. His words resonated with both command and prophecy, for he sensed a rise of destiny ahead, woven into the very essence of their being. In the pastoral silence broken only by the rustling of leaves and distant cries of newly born creatures, they set to work as the earth awaited its cultivation. They planted seeds of grain and fruit, a promise to the Creator that they would steward this second chance with reverence. Yet in the depths of Noah's heart, worry stirred, a grave concern regarding the legacy of men lost to wickedness. Days turned into weeks, and the once serene land began to teem with life, but whispers of the past lingered in the corners of Noah's mind. The stories of the Nephilim, the giants and mighty ones who roamed before the flood, echoed in his soul. Were there remnants of their spirit still present among the children of men? Would the hearts of this restored creation remain steadfast, or slip back into the abyss of depravity? One fateful day, while in quiet reflection upon the altar he had built, Noah raised his voice to God. O Lord, what of the hearts of these people? Have you not cast judgment upon the wicked for their transgressions? Will iniquity rise once again? A heavy silence cloaked the moment, yet deep within a whisper of reassurance flowed. Faithfulness still fell upon the earth like the nourishing dew. Then God answered him, as he had done before. Behold, Noah, I establish my covenant with you and your descendants. I will set my bow in the cloud, a sign of my enduring mercy. Be not afraid, for the hearts of men are fickle, but my love is everlasting. Genesis 9:9-13. Overwhelmed by divine grace, tears filled Noah's eyes, for he longed for the redemption of mankind. He gathered his family, recounting the faithfulness of God. Together they worshipped, lifting their voices in song and praise, magnifying the wonders they had witnessed. Yet as time passed, it became apparent that darkness began to creep back into the hearts of men. Whispers of pride and ambition sowed discord among them, and the world began to reflect the shadows of the past. As men sought to make names for themselves, they spoke of strength and prowess, devoid of reverence for the Creator. Noah cast his eyes toward the horizon, where the sun dipped into twilight. In his heart, doubts arose. Could they truly escape the chains of their lineage? Would their covenant with God endure among the children? And then, in the silence, a resolution formed within him. I will teach them of the Lord's ways, he resolved. I shall instill wisdom from his laws, that they may remember his acts of mercy. As dawn broke another day, Noah rallied his sons, sharing with them not only the knowledge of the earth, but the fear of God, woven together like a sacred tapestry. But even as he sought to foster faithfulness among his descendants, an unsettling truth loomed, a truth that would soon unfurl revelation upon revelation as the threads of divine purpose continued to intertwine with human will. But what Noah did not yet discern was the hidden plan of the Almighty, how the legacy of the Nephilim, bound in the hearts of men, would once again rend the fabric of creation. And thus the stage was set, and the divine clock ticked forward, heralding the unfolding of God's sovereign design toward a culmination unforeseen. As the days of restoration unfolded, the rhythm of life on the renewed earth danced to the cadence of divine grace. Noah and his family worked diligently, nurturing the land that had been cleansed of wickedness. The fields bore fruit, and the flocks multiplied. Life pulsed anew in the very soil of creation. Yet amidst this joy, a shadow lurked, whispering doubts into the minds of the faithful. One evening, as the light of the setting sun cast long shadows, Noah called his sons together. "My children," he began, his voice a mixture of fervor and earnestness, "we have seen the mercies of our God, and yet we walk among the remnants of the old world. We must remain vigilant, for the spirit of disobedience lays within the heart of man. Shem nodded solemnly, recalling tales of their ancestors, but Ham's brow furrowed with unrest. "Father, can we not trust in the promise? The rainbow is our seal," he exclaimed, hoping to quiet the fears that threatened peace. "Indeed it is," Noah affirmed. "Yet remember, what is promised must be maintained through obedience and faith." As the family sat in contemplation, a rustling arose nearby. Japheth, ever curious, darted towards the sound, and in the twilight dimness he stumbled upon a gathering of men. They were speaking in hushed tones, their language filled with ambition and pride. Noah's heart sank as he overheard them boast of reconstructing what had been cast down in judgment, suggesting that they might build a tower that reached the heavens. Drawing closer, he heard one declare, "We will make a name for ourselves. Let us not be scattered across the face of the earth." The echo of their words carried the bitter scent of familiarity, igniting despair in Noah's heart. The same ambition that had led to the wickedness of the former world now swirled like dark clouds upon the horizon. Noah returned to his family, alarm written across his face. "It is as I feared," he whispered. "Men are aspiring to heights they should not tread. They wish to forge their own path apart from God, to construct fortresses of pride. This is how the ancient spirits of rebellion and the Nephilim's legacy return." His sons looked at him with fear in their eyes. "What shall we do, father?" Shem questioned, gripping his father's arm. "We must rally the hearts of our clan and those whom God has saved," Noah replied, determination filling his voice. "We will teach them the ways of the Almighty and cling to his promise. Perhaps through holiness the hearts of men can be turned from wickedness once more." With urgency, they began to spread the word, enlisting the help of those who had shared in the deliverance from the flood. They met under the night sky, their voices rising like a sweet incense to the heavens, proclaiming not only the mercies of God, but warning against the resurgence of pride and wickedness. Yet beneath the fervor for righteousness, a portent swirled in the unseen. As they prayed, a faint shimmer appeared in the sky, a reminder of the covenant made, but also a testimony to the lurking dangers. Days flowed into weeks. Noah could feel the pull of wickedness growing stronger, echoing the ancient fears he had held in his heart. In the depth of his soul arose a foreboding truth. A deeply woven tapestry of faith and danger lay ahead, just beyond the veil. Little did he know, threads of the Nephilim's legacy were weaving their way into history once more, even amidst the echoes of his call to righteousness. As twilight fell once more upon the earth, the stars twinkled like a million unheard prayers, reminding all who gazed above that the story of man was not yet concluded. God's sovereign plan was still unfolding, wrought with mystery and possibility. And so it began, an unforetold journey beckoning toward an unyielding revelation, where the choices of men would clash with the will of the Creator, leading to an extraordinary intersect of divine justice and their redemptive destiny yet to be revealed. In the following days, the air was thick with tension, as Noah and his sons took up the mantle of leadership among their people. The whispers of ambition echoed through the valley, drawing souls towards rebellion, yet the righteous clung tightly to the truth they had been given. One evening, as twilight bathed the land in soft hues, Noah gathered the faithful beneath the expansive heavens. "Beloved," he proclaimed, "the hand of the Almighty has spared us and brought forth new life from destruction. But we must remember the lessons of our past. The pride that led to the great flood is again stirring in the hearts of men." A murmur of agreement rippled through the crowd. Fear and understanding danced within their hearts. "But we are different now, are we not?" One of the elders spoke, a hint of skepticism lacing his voice. "The God of Noah is with us. The rainbow assures us of his covenant." Noah raised his hand. "Indeed, the covenant stands firm," he replied, his tone grave. "But the hearts of men are fickle. There are many who wish to pave their way to greatness apart from our God. The edifice they would raise could become a snare, a living monument to their disobedience. Ham echoed, "What can we do against such overwhelming desires? Will our words be enough to turn them back?" "We shall stand as watchmen," said Shem, his voice steady, "and pray for wisdom to navigate this darkness. We will not fight with swords or stones, but with the truth of his word." And so the family undertook the task of teaching, sharing the renowned stories of God's faithfulness, of the flood, of creation, of their ancestors who walked with him. With each passing day, gatherings flourished. Those who once dreamt of ambition now began to thirst for the righteousness that flows from obedience. As days turned to weeks, the subjects of pride felt the challenge of the faithful at their heart's door. More than once, they gathered in secret, their conversations peppered with unease. "The family of Noah is stirring the hearts of the people," a man wearily lamented. "Their God is stirring within the shadows. We must act swiftly." Yet all was not well in the hearts of the faithful. Where hope sprouted, doubt still crept. One evening, as a storm gathered above, Noah retreated to pray, seeking the Lord's face. His heart ached with burden for those who turned from the path of righteousness. As he prayed, he felt the winds swirling, and in that sacred solitude the voice of the Lord whispered, "Fear not, my servant, for I am weaving a new tapestry through these trials and temptations." Encouraged, Noah arose to share his experience, but as he gathered his family, a shake of thunder rolled through the sky. They looked up, and what they saw left them breathless, a gathering of dark clouds, swirling ominously above, whispering shadows of the past. "Do you see?" Japheth gasped, pointing. "The heavens themselves declare a reckoning." Indeed, as the storm approached, it seemed as though it was not merely a weather phenomenon, but a spiritual battle brewing in the unseen. "Let us kneel together," Noah urged, "that we may ask our God for protection against the legacy that seeks to rise once more. For I sense that the heart of man is being tested, and great changes are at hand." They knelt beneath the darkening skies, their hearts lifted in fervent prayer, believing God would turn their lament into victory. Yet as their voices cried to the heavens, the winds howled with the whirlwind of mankind's stubbornness, hinting something hidden was being revealed. For the promise and peril of their existence were carefully woven together, and through every fervent prayer, something ancient stirred. In the midst of it all, Noah felt a deep certainty. God was readying a plan, one that would transcend their understanding, leading to a climactic discovery that would reveal more than just their immediate struggles. It would unveil the very legacy of the Nephilim and the foundation of a new world order. And as the storm loomed ever closer, it was clear. A divine tempest was about to unsettle the hearts of men, where the choices of the faithful would intertwine with the ancient echoes of rebellion. The time was drawing near for God's sovereign plan to be fulfilled, but what the outcome would reveal remained an unfathomable mystery, waiting to transform the tapestry of creation forevermore. The storm rumbled with a fury that seemed to awaken the very depths of the earth. The skies split open, unleashing a torrent of rain that fell like judgment upon the land. Yet amidst the chaos, Noah and his family remained steadfast in faith, their souls buoyed by a promise echoing through the ages. As they knelt in prayer, a vision flooded Noah's mind. Spectres of giants, their faces twisted in mockery, shadowed figures whose legacy had been buried beneath the waters of the flood. He was reminded of Genesis 6:4, when the Nephilim walked among men, a generation marked by iniquity and pride. "O Lord," he murmured, "is this their return?" The winds seethed as if bearing witness to his thoughts. "What was laid to rest has stirred again," he whispered, only to feel the weight of a divine revelation pressing upon him. As he opened his eyes, the storm mirrored the tumult in his heart. The clouds became messengers, heralding an unearthing of truth long concealed. "Stand firm," Shem urged his brothers, sensing their unease. "Let us call upon the name of the Lord. We cannot allow fear to take root where faith must thrive." They clasped hands, forming a circle of unity, a bulwark against the encroaching shadows. As they prayed, their voices rose like incense to the heavens, igniting the air with spirit and purpose. The cries summoned the presence of the Almighty, and just when it seemed the storm would swallow all light, a piercing flash split the sky. "Look!" Japheth shouted, startled by the illumination. "Something new is happening. The very heart of creation is unveiling before us." From the light within the storm, an ethereal outline emerged, a creature of magnificent power and grace, unlike any beast known to man. Noah's breath caught in his throat. "The creation groans for redemption," he proclaimed, his eyes wide with wonder. "Even now, God is revealing the extent of his majestic design." Suddenly, visions of the earth being ripped apart, mountains crumbling and seas swirling surged through his mind. It was a reminder of both the judgment of old and the mercy intertwined with it. The hearts of men are as the waters, Noah realized in that moment, ever tumultuous, ever in need of divine order. The thunder roared again, but now it felt like a call, a summons. "Fear not, my children," the voice reverberated through the storm, resonating in their spirits. "For I shall not leave the earth without a witness." Noah understood. This was not merely a tempest, it was a shift in the cosmic balance, a divine rendezvous with destiny. "We must prepare our hearts," he urged. "The legacy of the Nephilim may rise in influence, but we are called to engage in this battle, not by might nor by power, but by my spirit. As the prayer concluded, a stillness hung upon the land, an anticipatory hush before a world forever altered. "Tomorrow," Noah declared, "let us seek to uncover what has emerged from the depths of darkness, and to glean understanding from what God is revealing." With their hearts unified, they retired to their tent, aware that the dawn would not only bring light, but insight into the depths of heavenly waters that had stirred once again. And as they slept, the curtain of night concealed mysteries that would soon unfold, a revelation of a lineage entwined with the very fabric of creation itself, bearing the weight of the angel's fall and the hope of redemption. Indeed, as dawn approached, they would discover that the threads of God's sovereign plan were woven into every strand of their history, waiting to be unveiled in wondrous splendor and divine purpose. What lay beyond the storm they could not yet fathom, but they knew their faith would be tested, and thus they were called to prepare for what was to come. As the first light of dawn crept over the horizon, the storm slowly receded, leaving behind an air thick with anticipation. Noah rose from his slumber, rubbing the remnants of sleep from his eyes, and gazed out from his tent into the aftermath of a world transformed. The earth whispered of its truth. The sky unveiled its clarity. "Behold," he called to his sons, who stirred from their beds, still encased in the reverberations of the night's turmoil. "The Lord has spoken, and the world is transformed. Let us gather and seek what we must understand from the tumult of yesterday." Shem, Ham, and Japheth emerged, their faces illuminated by the glow of a sun that seemed to shine brighter than any day before it. The air was rich with the scent of renewal. "The creatures of the land, the air, and the waters, they await," Shem spoke, his voice carrying the weight of prophetic urgency. "What shall we do?" "The Lord is with us," Noah replied, steadfast in spirit. "We shall venture forth, heartened by his presence, for it is written in the book of Isaiah, 'And all thy children shall be taught of the Lord, and great shall be the peace of thy children.'" Isaiah 54:13. Revelation is upon us, and wisdom will guide our steps. As they stepped out, the landscape unfolded before them, revealing remnants of the tempest. Trees bent but unbroken, and the soil turned yet alive. This was a land familiar, yet endowed with a new vibrancy. In that stillness, the family collectively experienced a profound sense of expectation and dread, for the giants of old seemed to echo in the air. "Father," Ham said, walking alongside Noah, "will we see the return of the Nephilim? Could they manifest again as they did in days of yore?" Noah paused, remembering the weight of the revelations he had seen through the storm. What has been is but a shadow of what is to come. A dark legacy etched upon the hearts of men, as recorded in Genesis 6:5. "And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth. Yet the Lord has promised to leave a remnant. We are to be witnesses and heirs to a covenant of grace if we remain faithful." They ventured to the edge of the highest cliff by the ark, overlooking the waters that now ebbed gently, reflecting the glories of the dawn. As they gazed out, troubling shadows flickered just beneath the surface, a stark reminder of powers lurking amidst creation, whispering of the old tyranny. The water roiled and churned, as if eager to reveal the truths that lay beneath. "Look!" Japheth pointed, eyes wide as a sudden movement disrupted the calm. From the depths, shapes began to emerge, drawing nearer. The brothers held their breath, hearts quickening. The spectre of giants was dawning before them once again. Before fear could take root, Noah raised his hands. "Prepare your hearts," he urged. "Fear not, for the Lord is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble." Psalm 46:1. This is not just a manifestation of ancient terror, but a moment poised between the grace of God and the retelling of creation's tale. As they stood watch, the water settled, revealing not destruction, but forms of renewal, great and strong beasts swirling in majestic harmony, a living testament to God's design and dominion over the earth. The vision shifted, horrific and beautiful, as if to suggest that just beyond calamity, new life awaited to blossom. With the sun rising higher, illuminating the landscape, a thought pierced through Noah's mind, bringing clarity. God is unveiling his sovereign plan. The earth must bear witness to his glory. The legacy of the giants will not be our end. Instead, it is a prelude to birth and rebirth, a revelation of his everlasting covenant. As the day advanced, the brothers felt the weight of the divine mystery enveloping them. What lay in wait beneath the waters was a hallmark of God's providential care and his unwavering purpose. And just as they pondered the implications of what they had seen, a new truth hung in the air, laden with promise. "Indeed," Noah declared, "what does this foreshadow? For his plans are greater than we can fathom. In the spirit of holiness, let us ready ourselves, for the hour of unveiling is nigh. Yet the true measure of our faith shall soon be tested. What covenant shall emerge from the depths of darkness? Only he knows." As the sun enveloped the landscape in warming rays, Noah and his sons felt a tremor ever so slight beneath their feet. "What is this?" Shem asked, his brow furrowing in concern. "It is the earth," Noah replied, the gravity of understanding washing over him. "It trembles in anticipation of the Lord's unfolding purpose. For the earth groans, awaiting its deliverance." Romans 8:22. With watchful eyes, they peered into the waters, the shadows shifting and swirling, like the hands of fate weaving a tapestry of what was and what was to come. As they gathered their resolve, a profound stillness seized the air, pregnant with the mystery of the unseen. Suddenly, a great roar erupted from the depths. The waters exploded upwards, parting like the curtain of an unseen theatre, revealing majestic forms rising to the surface. Creatures of might, the like of which had been spoken of only in hushed tones, emerged. Their massive scales glistened like jewels in the sun, and their eyes held a wisdom that transcended ages. "What manner of beast is this?" Ham whispered, almost reverently. Noah maintained his stance, remembering the ancient words of David, "The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof." Psalm 24:1. These are part of the Lord's creation. They are as much a part of his promise as we are. Yet within the splendor, shadows lurked, figures risen from the echoes of the past. The Nephilim, Japheth breathed, recognizing the fated legacy of the giants who had once roamed the earth. "Fear not," Noah spoke, lifting his hand against the rising tide of dread. "They are not here to declare the end, but perhaps to reveal new beginnings. The Lord shall use all things for his glory, even what is terrifying. As it is written, 'Behold, I am doing a new thing, now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it?'" Isaiah 43:19. As the last vestiges of the storm drifted into the realms of memory, the brothers felt the winds of change stirring. The creatures began to dance across the surface of the water, their forms merging in a rhythm both mesmerizing and intimidating. The heavens looked down upon them as if holding its breath in reverence for the spectacle. "Father, shall we approach them?" Shem ventured, his heart racing with the possibility of encounter, a mingling of fear and fascination stirring within. "Faith must be our guide," Noah affirmed, gathering his sons beside him. "We tread into uncharted waters, yet God is our captain. We shall move forward, for he leads us to unearth the forgotten promises bound up in creation's heart." With deliberation, they descended the cliff, each step echoing with purpose, while the waters shimmered, reflecting a world anew. What lay before them was more than mere creatures. It was a rebirth of stories long thought lost, each giant, each beast, unveiling a fragment of divine revelation waiting to be translated into the hope of future generations. As they neared, the air crackled with an unspoken energy, a bridge connecting their world to the myriad whispers of the Creator. The giants, too, seemed transfixed by the presence of humanity, their hearts stirred with an echo of remembrance. Then, in a moment suspended in time, Noah raised his voice. "O great ones, come forth, for we are but men seeking the light of understanding in the shadow of your existence. What message might you bring from the dawn of our history?" In response, the waters bubbled and roiled, and from their depths a thunderous voice replied, "Remember the ancient vow, a covenant written not just in the heavens, but within us all. We are the guardians of the promise that speaks of how the waters of chaos give way to new life." As awe washed over them, Noah could feel the weight of purpose pressing upon his heart. The journey was not simply about survival from the deluge, but about renewal in the face of ancient terrors, for the echoes of the past still held promise. Dear sons, do you perceive the wisdom offered today? This moment is laden with purpose. The Lord is teaching us through the wonders of his creation. We must listen intently. And just then, a new shadow fell across the waters, the horizon thickening with a gathering cloud. "Brothers," he cautioned, "the tale is not over. Another chapter is unfolding with divine intrigue that beckons us to seek deeper truths. What shall this mean for us, yet to be unwrapped?" Thus they stood on the precipice of revelation, engulfed by what was coming, as whispers of God's sovereign plans stirred around them, calling forth both awe and obedience. The hour was pressing, for the unveiling of history's divine narrative had only just commenced. As the voices of the creatures reverberated through the still air, Noah's heart quickened with a holy anticipation. "Sons, heed the sound of the waters and the call of ancient promises," he said, his voice steady amidst the chaos. "The Lord speaks not only through the winds, but through the breath of creation itself." The sons stood transfixed, every muscle in their bodies poised between faith and fear. Surrounding them, the giants shifted restlessly in the deep, their enormous forms now half immersed in the light glistening off the waves. It seemed as if they too were participants in this unfolding narrative, echoes of forgotten lore resonating from deep within their being. With a sudden, violent swirl, one of the beasts broke toward the shore, sending ripples of water cascading like jeweled rain. Its presence caused the very rocks beneath them to tremble. "O mighty beings!" Noah cried out, bolstered by the Spirit. "Share with us your truth. What is it that the Most High desires of his servants in this hour?" A hush quelled the tumult, and in the heart of that stillness the creature's gaze fell upon Noah. Its cleft nostrils flared as if to draw deep the air saturated with change. "The time has come for revelations long obscured," the voice resonated, both ancient and timeless, as it poured forth from the creature's immense form. "We were sent as harbingers. The earth has been cradled in chaos, but the Lord's mercy will manifest anew." "Will you guide us?" Ham implored, clutching his father's cloak. The weight of destiny rested heavily upon each heart. "Yes," the giant asserted, its voice echoing like thunder but gentle as a whisper. "Do not fear what lies ahead. Strength resides in your unity. Just as the waters cover the sea, be bound to one another, for therein lies the power of covenant." As the brothers heard this, their minds raced to the stories their father had told, the threads of the covenant extending from Adam through their own lineage, woven into the very fabric of creation. Oaths exchanged in the heavens long before man wandered the earth, promises echoing through generations, evolving yet unchanging. "But what does it mean for humanity's future?" Japheth ventured, uncertainty flickering even behind his bravery. "Know this," the Titan thundered, a fierceness in its declaration. "Your faith will usher in a new epoch. The heavens will spill open, and a flood not of destruction, but of divine knowledge will cascade upon the earth. The Lord will raise a remnant who will bear witness to his glory." "What shall we do?" Shem pressed earnestly, his spirit awakening to the gravity of their moment. "Prepare your hearts and minds to receive what comes. Gather those who witness and believe. Time shall reveal a new creation, and through you the lost will be restored. The fragments of shattered past will become the cornerstone of new foundations. Look, for amidst the chaos there is order, amidst the destruction there is beauty." Noah's heart swelled as he caught glimpses of the hope intertwined with fear, the promises dormant, waiting to bloom. "Brothers," he said, a roar rising within him, "we shall heed this call. We shall gather those who seek truth and guide them. Our purpose shall be the vessel of God's new vision." As they rallied around Noah, the creatures stirred, their massive forms undulating rhythmically to an unspoken hymn orchestrated by the Creator's hands. "The winds are shifting," one of the giants boomed, fate intertwining with faith. A sudden darkness cloaked their horizon, and a voice filled with authority commanded the storm. "Now you shall witness. What was once hidden shall be revealed." Fear gripped them, but Noah turned to his sons. "All storms yield to the Master's will. We embrace the coming changes, for the unfurling of God's sovereign plan has begun. Are we prepared for what lies ahead?" Their eyes gleamed with both fear and anticipation, for the unfolding of history was not merely a tale, but a divine invitation to partake in the ultimate odyssey. And as the tempest brewed anew, in the depths of their hearts, they knew the divine tapestry woven through epochs would now find its emerging threads in them. Thus they awaited the culmination of creation's cycles, aware that the key to the porches of eternity lay just beyond their fear, the depths of God's promise, all but inviting them to step forth into the unknown. What revelation awaited them around the next bend of existence? As dawn broke, the earth lay before Noah and his sons, transformed by the night's tumult into a canvas of possibilities, shimmering with the dew of new beginnings. The whispers of the giants still echoed in their hearts, weaving an awareness of what had been and what was yet to come. "Let us gather our people," Noah commanded, his heart ablaze with purpose. "We are called to carry forth the message of what we have seen, to speak of the Lord's mercy and the strength of unity." With renewed vigor, Noah and his sons traversed the land, inviting the faithful and those willing to listen. As they shared the revelations gifted to them, hope was rekindled in the hearts of many. a flame sparked by the ancient promises and the awakening of collective destiny. In the days that followed, the people gathered in numbers around Noah's altar, a sacred place echoing with prayers and testimonies. There they spoke of the covenant, the mercy illustrated by the rainbow, and the vision of divine knowledge cascading like a torrent over a parched earth. In their midst, a community began to swell with belief, humbled by the truth of their past and eager for the light of the future. "Look unto the heavens," Noah proclaimed one sun-drenched morning, his voice cutting through the murmurs of newly committed souls. "The storm has passed, and the Lord has been with us. He has shown his strength not in destruction, but in creation. Just as the waters gave way, we too shall emerge renewed." As he spoke, the crowd turned their faces skyward, where the sun blazed down, mingling with the vibrant hues of the rainbow arching overhead, a sign of hope, an eternal reminder of God's promises that did not waver. Yet amidst the fervor of faith, a shadow lurked at the edges of their collective hearts. The legacy of the Nephilim stirred uneasily in the narratives of human ambition. Several among them whispered of towers to be built, dreams layered with the intent to reclaim the heights of unholy pride. Hearing their doubts, Noah gathered his family, caution clinging heavily to his heart. "We must remember the lessons written upon our history. The giants who roamed before us carried pride that led to judgment. We are called to humility, not renown. Let us not repeat the course of iniquity." Shem, Ham, and Japheth exchanged solemn looks, knowing their father spoke with the weight of experience. "Father," Shem urged, "what if we built structures, a city for our people, a shelter from the chaos, but let it honor the Lord?" Noah contemplated their words, the flickering torch of hope meeting the spectre of ambition. Indeed, a city could represent our unity, a lasting testament to our covenant with God. But it must be rooted in His glory, not our pride. We must build a community of faith, where His name is exalted. With the resolve set forth, they began to gather the artisans, the builders, and those eager to contribute to the construction of this new vision. A town that would flourish beneath the eternal gaze of the Almighty, standing resolved against the tides of the old world. As walls rose and prosperity took root, the air filled with the laughter of children and the melodies of songs celebrating the Creator. Yet, as the days passed, the chilling echoes of the past began to twist amidst their camaraderie, a reminder of the Nephilim's legacy lurking behind their ambitions. Whispers of grandeur seeped into the hearts of some, yearning for recognition and power. Noah sensed the looming danger as he prayed, his spirit heavy. "O Lord," he cried, "have we set forth a course toward ruin anew? Shall the legacy of giants eclipse our covenant of grace? Protect us from the pride that ensnared our forebears." As he wept, the heavens opened, and the voice of the Lord resonated in the tranquility of the moment. "Fear not, O faithful servant, for I shall walk among you. My love will sustain you, and together you shall foster a generation who will guide the world back to me. Though men's hearts are fickle, my purpose is unyielding." Encouraged, Noah rallied the people. "We journey alongside the Creator. Let our hearts remain focused on the one true purpose, to honor Him through love and unity. For even amidst the legacy of darkness, our light shall shine." In time, the city flourished. It became a hub of righteousness, drawing those longing for the truth. Yet the shadows of pride still whispered. Men spoke of building towers to reach the heavens, ambition to reclaim what was once lost. Then in the midst of fervent preparations, a figure emerged from the crowd. It was a man with the stature of a Nephilim, clothes tattered and eyes bright with ambition. "Hear me, people," he declared, his voice laced with fervor. "Let us raise a tower to mark our greatness, to etch our names upon the heavens for all to remember." Tension rippled through the assembly as the call to pride echoed. Noah's heart sank. "No!" he cried, passion igniting within him. This must not be our path. Builders of chaos will not reign over us. We owe our lives to the covenant of mercy. Let us turn our gaze back to the Creator. Though his words struck chords of truth, the crowd hesitated, swayed by the allure of ambition that still flickered in their hearts. Then came a voice, wise and steady, his son Japheth. What marks our legacy is not the structure built against the skies, but the hearts turned toward righteousness and the love shared among us. Let us encompass our aspirations not around self-exaltation, but a foundation built on God's promises. A murmur of agreement shifted through the assembly, emboldening Noah's hope. Indeed, let us be known for seeking God's kingdom, for humility and service. For in obedience we find strength, and in unity we uncover the very heart of our Creator. The once parade of ambition crumbled, replaced by a fervent commitment to forge paths of love and praise, underscoring the truth of God's eternal covenant. As day faded into night, Noah stood before the people, their faces now radiant with resolve, and proclaimed, "Tonight we will gather at the foot of this city we have built for a time of worship, remembrance, and dedication to the one true God who has delivered us." In that moment the heavens drew close, the stars twinkling as they overflowed with promise. And so they gathered, lifting songs of worship that carried like incense to the Lord, who smiled upon them, filling the air with his presence. As the night deepened, accompanying shadows danced on the edges of their gathering, mirroring the eternal struggle against the legacies of old. But amidst the refrain of voices raised high, the remembrance of God's mercy stood as a beacon, undeniable, unbreakable. And so it was, before the dawn of emerging truths, that the narrative continued, knitting together lives entwined with covenant, for the saga of creation found renewed hope awaiting fulfillment, reminding all who gathered of the infinite grace within the omniscient plan of the Almighty. In closing, dear friends, as we reflect upon this powerful testimony of faith, community, and God's unending mercy, I urge you to take action. You need to subscribe now, to stay connected to God's Word, and to not miss the next incredible stories from the Scriptures that inspire countless lives. Leave a like now to help spread God's truth through the algorithm, allowing more hearts to encounter His message of hope and redemption. Comment below your spiritual reflections and share how this biblical story has impacted your faith. I'm amazed at how the stories of God breathe life and inspire faith across generations. And don't wait even one more second to share this powerful testimony with at least 5 friends who need to hear God's truth today. Together, let's magnify the love and mercy of our Lord.